the future of Hogwarts Legacy.
WB has had a pretty good year.
Speaking of Activision, Activision was hacked in December and didn't tell a single soul about it, and it just came out recently.
I truly believe that PlayStation, it's a lose-lose for them.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Player versus Podcast. And man, dude, we got a week for you with all kinds of crazy stories from all over. I'm here with my co-host, Dalton, aka Esports Center, and we're going to cover everything from more Hogwarts Legacy news, including the future with sequels and maybe a TV show, to a whole bunch of new Activision, Xbox acquisition stuff, a whole bunch of Call of Duty news again. It's been a while.
Sony is sabotaging them.
Yeah, it's been a wild week, and we're going to dive all into it, starting right now with one of the biggest stories, the future of Hogwarts Legacy. Dalton, have you heard about this?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I'm going to let you kind of kick it off, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
All right. So last week, we kind of got rumblings of a potential sequel for Hogwarts Legacy, and it was just rumors, and specifically it said that the next game would take place in Ilvermorny, which is in, I believe in Massachusetts in the United States. I know I pronounced
US
that wrong. But yeah, it's basically a United States version of Hogwarts. And a lot of people were excited about that, but it was just rumors. And then today, at the time of recording, we got the numbers out. The game has sold 12 million copies.
Pretty crazy.
It is already a phenomenon, and we haven't even got the last gen versions yet. This game was already breaking records every single week, so it's no surprise. And it's just like, we knew it was going to do well, but the key phrasing that the executive at WB used here was Hogwarts Legacy will be a long-term franchise. So that means not just one sequel or one DLC, Dalton. That means many sequels, maybe many DLCs, and maybe spin-offs, hopefully a multiplayer spin-off, because I know that's what a lot of people want. But what do you think of all this, man?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I think Hogwarts Legacy 2 will definitely have a multiplayer. We'll definitely be able to play Quidditch, or at least should be able to. And I find the numbers to be super impressive. I mean, the game's been out for 2 weeks. They're closing in on $1 billion in revenue. And like you said, the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch versions of the game haven't even released yet. 12 million copies is super impressive. I believe that it's like 80% better than what Elden Ring was at the same time of release. Also, another interesting fact, I have this one pulled up. 82% of the physical copies are actually PlayStation copies.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
It's quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think it's super cool. I think that adding more games to this series is exciting. I think that we're 2 to 3 weeks in from launch, so I think it's a little bit early to be talking about a sequel. Definitely enjoy this game. I'm worried about the longevity of this game, so I think that's why they're like, yeah, we're going to release a second one so early. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah, it's that's the power of the marketing deal, because remember they had the whole marketing thing with PlayStation, and because I mean,
one exclusive.
Yeah, like we know PS5 is in the lead over Xbox Series X, but it's not that drastic. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's not that drastic. Like it's a bigger number, but it's not like Xbox One to PS4 yet. It's not that level yet. So it's just like, I don't know. I was expecting a lot more Xbox owners to play this game, I guess, but it's either way, it's a success. And what's funny is also the news that came out where the developers were actually asked about DLC, and they were so focused on just making this game, getting it complete, and getting it out, that they haven't even started making a DLC at all. They haven't even thought about a DLC yet. So if there is DLC for this game, it's going to be a while. Because
I don't think that they'll add it. I'm not going to lie. I think that they'll go straight to the second one rather than adding DLC. I think it just makes more sense.
And like a lot of people were upset about this, but like, dude, it's respectable. They did the God of War. They made a complete game and fucking shipped it out. No leaving content out to put in DLC later. They didn't even have any plans to DLC. They didn't know how this game was going to do because of the whole cancel culture and everything behind it. They knew their backs were against the wall with, you know, J.K. Rowling and her past. They knew that, but they got this game out, and it's a massive success, and it's great to fucking see, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super, super happy for it. Overall, it's a good game. I think that it would have been nice to see multiplayer. We talked about this before. It's
Yeah.
understandable that they didn't. The only other thing that I wanted to see within the DLC would have been Quidditch. I don't really care about going to extra places on the map or anything like that. The map is very large and has plenty to do.
Yeah, like there's two things I want, and somebody reminded me of this. Quidditch is on everybody's list, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, I'm blanking on the name, but remember the Goblet of Fire where they had that tournament with like
Yeah.
all the people from different schools, and it had what's his name, Robert Pattinson was in there. That was like his first role ever. But like
Yeah.
that tournament also would be really cool to have in this game. So like there's a lot of cool things there, and it's fine. You know what? If it never comes to this game, we know this is going to be a long-term franchise now. It's going to come in the sequels. You know what I mean? And beyond just the games, there was also a leak of a HBO show already in the works for Hogwarts Legacy. I think this is a record of how quickly I've seen a game come out and immediately a TV show's in the works. What do you think about this?
You got to remember, Harry Potter was a very successful movie franchise and book franchise.
100%.
So it makes sense, like 100%. And for those that are a little concerned of like, well, isn't this just going to be a Harry Potter TV show? No, actually, Hogwarts Legacy is set 100 years prior to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So it's a very new story in a very familiar place.
Yeah, and it's the great thing about Hogwarts Legacy, and we got hints of it playing the story, is that it could build the world out even more beyond just Hogwarts. Like I said, the sequel is rumored to be in Ilvermorny. We have another character, Natty, in the game who comes from another school, I believe in Nigeria. I could be wrong. So now they're opening up this world beyond just Hogwarts and fleshing it out even more. And that's the stuff I'm really excited to see. But the one takeaway I have from this whole Hogwarts Legacy thing is how you remember it. Like all these groups were trying to cancel it. The famous quote, if you play the game, you're going to be labeled as a transphobe and canceled. All the drama that was behind this game to cancel it had the reverse effect. This is just a monumental success now. I feel like that it was always going to do well because it's the Harry Potter universe, and Harry Potter is beyond, popular. It's up there with Star Wars. It's up there with Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It was always going to do well, but I feel like there are even people who bought this game just purely out of spite to go against cancel culture.
The canceling had a reverse effect, and I think WB is like raking in the dough right now, getting their closing on $1 billion. It's insane.
Yeah, and people are saying, like, they're making the joke, like, man, what a great marketing strategy. Like, but they didn't really do anything. They just let the community handle it. It's not like, the Avalanche was jumping out there like, hey guys, buy this game if you hate cancel culture. They weren't saying nothing. Like, they just
no.
Dude, they just released trailers, let the press play the game, picked who they wanted to review it, to reviewers who would give it fair reviews, and boom, that was it, man. Like, the community did the rest. People like me and you reporting on this on TikTok.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that the game would be as popular as it is today if it wasn't for that cancel culture stuff, though.
Yeah.
I think it really brought it into like the public light, being like, hey, there's a new Harry Potter game.
Yep.
A game that a lot of people didn't know about or didn't know when it was releasing. So it got more people like on board with actually buying it, like you're saying.
Yeah.
A little bit out of spite in a way. I don't think that this game has longevity factor, though. I think that a lot of people, we've talked about this, are kind of like, they know it's a month-long game, and then we're on to the next thing. And we've already seen Atomic Heart release. We saw Sons of the Forest release this week. So we've seen a lot of stuff that's already come out that's already like starting to pull users away.
Yeah.
I will say though, WB has had a pretty good year. They had Multiverses release. I know that it's not great right now. They've actually lost 99% of their player base, which is really unfortunate. But now they have Hogwarts Legacy, their biggest, if not the biggest single player game out there over the last couple of years. So doing absolutely amazing. I just think that they got to continue with this momentum. Like, what's next for WB?
Yeah. If you were to tell me before WB showed their slate of games coming out that Hogwarts Legacy, made by a developer who has a really terrible track record on games, was going to be the best game to come out of all of them, I would have called you crazy. Because you think about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Multiverses was okay, died very quickly. Gotham Knights was fucking terrible. And Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League doesn't look any better after what we saw at the PlayStation PlayStation State of Play today. So
while we're on it, actually, can we talk about the PlayStation State of Play real quick?
Yeah. What a shit show, man.
Give me your rating. 1 out of 10 or 1 to 10.
Look, you know me. I'm the PlayStation fanboy of the podcast, right? But even I was so disappointed about this. Like, I've seen a lot of terrible PlayStation State of Plays. As a PlayStation fan, you just know it's one or the other. You're gonna get a bomb-ass show like the last State of Play last year, or you're gonna get one of these. And unfortunately, it was one of these. And the indie games, I'm sure there's a crowd out there that likes them. None of them resonated to me. The VR games, I just got a PSVR 2. I'm actually very excited about it. Just played Horizon Call of the Mountain. I love it. I love the tech. Wasn't excited about any of those VR games they showed. Really hoping for Half-Life Alyx. Still not coming out for this thing. The only game that excited me there was Baldur's Gate 3, and that's just because I played the first 2 years and years ago, and I'm an old man. But that's it. Everything else, man, even Suicide Squad, I was ready to be excited for this game because I've been kind of lukewarm on it. And I was like, but okay.
You after seeing that trailer, you wanted it to be a Superman game. You wanted it to be somebody else, the Justice League. You didn't want Suicide Squad. Like, out of all of the superheroes, you're like, really?
Dude, I was debating making a TikTok on this, and you know this isn't my style, right? I don't
you don't really hate on games.
I don't make ranting videos, right?
No.
But I was gonna pump out.
Well, though, let me tell you, I started doing this recently of just being like, here's my take, and sometimes they do good. I'm
gonna make it tomorrow. I think I'm gonna make it, so keep a lookout for it when you guys. It's already gonna be long posted by the time you guys see this podcast. But here's my rant, right? Rocksteady finishes Batman Arkham Knight.
Yes. And
they're thinking of what game they're going to make next, right? In fact, let me read you my script because I did make a script for this. Okay, it is funny. All right. We got to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Today, we got a lengthy blowout on what exactly this game is going to be, and it's essentially a Destiny clone. You play online with your friends, there's loot, cosmetics, a battle pass, internet required to play the game, you name it. It's set in Metropolis, Brainiac is the main villain. Oh, and this game features the Justice League. Exciting, right? But instead of letting you play as those characters, you play as the Suicide Squad. At what point, when Rocksteady was deciding what their next game was going to be, did they go, hey, let's make a Justice League game, but instead of playing as a Justice League, you're going to kill them? That's what the people want, right? Surely they wouldn't want to play as Superman or Flash, Green Lantern, hell, even Batman again. Like, bro.
It's a good take.
What the fuck?
I think we're all in the same boat. I think that, dude, I'm just like, again, 1 to 10. What do you give the PlayStation State of Play today?
I give it probably like a 4 out of 10, 5 if I'm being generous. Like,
I'm with you. I'm at a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, it was just.
I got a PSVR 2 as well.
Yeah.
After how much crap I've given it, it doesn't make me feel much better after seeing those games.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I would have been over the moon. This would have been a 7 out of 10 if Half-Life Alyx showed up. Like,
oh, absolutely.
That game is still trapped on the Valve Index. Like, it's just
because it's a Steam game.
Yeah, I get it. But I'm like, dude, and you know what? From what I hear, I think Valve and PlayStation never had the best history together. Like, remember PlayStation got the shittiest version of the orange box? I'm sure they're probably still salty about that. But like,
yeah.
It's just, yeah, man, it's wild. And
you want to hear a crazy stat about the PSVR 2?
Huh?
You want to hear a crazy stat about the PSVR 2?
What?
42 of the 49 day one releases are already available or will be available on Oculus Quest 2.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That leaves you 7 total games that PlayStation's like, this is ours.
Yeah.
This is why you should buy our headset. I mean, kind of disappointing if you ask me. And again, I'm like, the only one that I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably play that is Horizon Call of the Mountain.
So
and even then, I'm not super hyped on it. Like, again, I bought it because I'm like, I feel like I should give it a fair shot. I've talked a lot of crap about it, and I'm like, maybe it deserves its flowers. But if this is bad, you're gonna hear it.
See, you're on the same boat as me. We got the PSVR 2 for work. This is what we do. We cover the games industry. We have to have all the tech. We have to review all the tech.
Oh, have to. It's a great part of the job, but yes.
Yes, and so it's a nice tax write-off. So, like, I got the PSVR 2, but looking at the lineup, I wasn't totally disappointed. Beyond the games that I know are already on Oculus, and I have Oculus Quest 2 myself, I was excited for Horizon Call of the Mountain. Actually gave me a reason to get Gran Turismo because I want to see what driving a car in VR is like. I haven't played a driving game in VR yet. No Man's Sky, I already had it. Gonna check that out in VR. Resident Evil Village, already had it. Free update. I'm gonna check that out in VR too. So there was at least 4 things for me to check out. But once I finish those, which I can't imagine they're gonna be long experiences, that's fucking it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe
it's not a whole lot, which is like what is coming, and the things that we're supposed to be shown at State of Play of like, hey guys, get excited about it. You just got this brand new console yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to play any of those.
So I will be fair. I'm gonna be not gonna say devil's advocate because I'm biased towards PlayStation, right?
Yes.
I'm the Sony meat writer, but Jeff Grubb, the insider we make videos on all the time along with Tom Henderson, has said before this even was announced that there was going to be a small scale State of Play, which is what we got, and there will be a full-blown PlayStation showcase before E3. So the big show is coming. So those of you who are bummed out like me and Dalton are, don't worry. The big, like, gigantic PlayStation show is going to be here any month now, hopefully. And
I doubt it.
Dude, I
truly doubt it. And I'll tell you why. And it's going to lead us into our next segment.
Yeah.
PlayStation can't show anything that they have coming soon. They can't even show a Spider-Man 2 trailer because it will help Microsoft's case in the Activision Blizzard deal.
So real quick, and I could be wrong because you've been following this a lot closely than I have, so I could very well be wrong. But isn't the decision going to be made by April 28th or something like that?
That's the EU. The EU is first to decide, but the FTC is the one that truly has the final say.
And when is that?
I don't know if they've given us a date. I think the deadline is probably somewhere between August and November.
Okay.
I want to say late summer to fall.
So your point, what you're going to say is still valid. Because I was going to say, if the deal can close before June, then they, you know what I mean? This is likely to, like, after whatever happens with that, then they'll like, okay, let's drop our showcase.
I bet you PlayStation has a ton in the chamber that they're like,
oh yeah,
ready to go.
Dude,
but as soon as they get that, like, green light or red light, that's going to determine the release windows on these.
And this is going to be fun. Real quick, and we'll get to the whole like Activision deal and everything in a second. But the games we know about for PlayStation, talking about loaded, the chamber's loaded, right? Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Ghost of Tsushima 2, Last of Us Factions, a Uncharted game made by a different studio. Not Naughty Dog. You'll see.
I don't think it's real.
Right? So that's 5. That's 5 big games. And then there's supposed to be 2 live service PlayStation games that are supposed to come before their fiscal year ends. One of those we know is Twisted Metal. The other one still kind of shaky on what that might be. We don't know. But there's 2 live service games coming. I think actually Last of Us Factions might be the other live service game if leaks are right, because that one is supposed to be like an Escape from Tarkov type experience with the story and all kinds of stuff like that. So I can't wait to see that game, by the way. But yeah, they got a lot to show, and these are all games that should be coming in the next fiscal year. That showcase is definitely coming, and I mean, they're gonna have to do it. Like, I know they're holding off as long as they possibly can to see what happens with this Xbox Activision stuff, but like we were supposed to get this showcase in September. You know that, right? Every September.
Yeah, 100%.
Every September for the last couple of years, we've had this showcase, and they skipped on it, which is like what you're going to get to right now, which your point is absolutely correct. They are holding off because of this stuff.
So I truly believe that PlayStation, it's a lose-lose for them, which is super unfortunate. You know what I mean? As a PlayStation player, I can only imagine. See, the thing is, the big thing that they're fighting over is Call of Duty here, right?
Yeah.
So PlayStation doesn't want to give up any of their benefits or anything like that. But let's say hypothetically, the deal doesn't go through. Well, you put up so much of a stink, and your company didn't, or their company didn't get bought because of PlayStation. Now, PlayStation's contract with Call of Duty ends in 2024.
Yeah.
So what's going to stop Activision from saying, you know what, you were kind of a pain in the ass to work with. We're going to go work with Microsoft on this new deal. And now all the Microsoft and all the Xbox players now get all the benefits that PlayStation used to get. They get all the perks and the early access and the double XPs and all this fun stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that we'll ever see Call of Duty not on PlayStation. I think
Yeah.
financially it just doesn't make sense. But you're going to ruin the relationship you've built with Activision. I think that handing it over and letting it go to Microsoft is
Yeah.
going to be an even better option for you because you know what? They've offered to give you Call of Duties for PlayStation Plus. Activision, on the other hand, doesn't have to do that.
Yeah.
They could say in this new deal, you know what? Yeah, we will add some games on Game Pass. You know what? Like we know that Sony was the one trying to stop us before, and we see it in all these documents, and this is all written out for the public.
Yeah.
So might as well give us, give it to you for Game Pass and give us an extra couple bucks.
So I agree with you to a point because like with Xbox acquiring Activision, I truly feel like Xbox is it's gonna now shift to where Xbox gets all the exclusive maps, the exclusive guns, like the cosmetic stuff, right? But the one thing that I do feel that that I agree with you with that PlayStation will lose by not agreeing on a contract with Xbox right now is Call of Duty coming to PlayStation Plus or past Call of Duty games coming to PlayStation Plus, right? Because like we heard rumblings or from rumors that was part of the contract. They offered Sony the same 10-year contract that Nintendo just signed, right?
They brought it out in the EU.
Yeah.
And Lily was like, hey, we brought this to Sony and we're looking to have a conversation whenever they're ready. But you know what? They're so far apart and they're not even having conversations anymore. So it's like they're both standing on their hill and one of them's gonna fall.
Here's what I mean by this, right? So like, okay, PlayStation doesn't sign the contract, right? The deal still goes through. Yeah, they still get Call of Duty because they might hold Xbox to that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever, whatnot. But they're not gonna get any future Call of Duties or any past Call of Duties on PlayStation Plus. Whereas if they sign that contract now, they get that 10-year agreement, they could get, everybody's been asking for Black Ops and stuff on PlayStation Plus, on that new PlayStation Plus. Like you could get all those Black Ops games over there. You get all those past games there and all future Call of Duties there. And that's something that I feel like they could very well miss out on. So I agree with you on that. But I always felt like Xbox was already, no matter what agreement, if Sony signs the agreement or not, Xbox is gonna get like dibs first on maps and cosmetics and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It'd be a complete shift though. I mean, look at every game that gets their exclusives or early access. It always goes to PlayStation.
Yep. 100%.
So, I mean, I don't see again Activision being like, yeah, we'll re-up and do the same exact deal. It just doesn't make sense.
Speaking of that, I mean, you've seen the whole Nintendo announcement, right? So Nintendo signed that contract for 10 years. The phrasing from, what was his name? Brad Smith?
Yeah.
The phrasing of his tweet was a little weird. Did you see it?
I thought it was interesting. I'm assuming you're talking about where he says Xbox games to Nintendo gamers.
Yes.
Their focus right now is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But he said Xbox games, thus indicating that more Xbox titles will be coming to Nintendo.
And I think here's my pie in the sky theory. I think Nintendo Switch might get Game Pass soon, and it's going to be like a cloud version, obviously, because that console is completely underpowered. Unless we're talking about the Switch 2 or whatever the Nintendo Switch successor is, which, God, I hope it's a more powerful console. It's about time. But yeah, I think I foresee a future where we see, Game Pass or like quite a few Xbox games on Switch, but I don't see it going the other way. I feel like Nintendo wouldn't want their games on Xbox because Nintendo, you know how they are, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Microsoft is going to get to a point where pretty much all their games run on all platforms, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. I actually want to read off an interesting stat that Tom Warren brought up. This is from Brad Smith. Talking about Xbox cross-platform plus exclusives. Microsoft has 58 games already running on PlayStation. Sony has, can you guess?
It's in the hundreds, like 200 something, 300 something?
No. Microsoft has 58 games running on PlayStation. How many games does Sony have running on Xbox?
Oh, I'm thinking about it the other way. Sub 10? 0?
Yeah. No.
What?
2.
So
Microsoft has 58 games already running on PlayStation. Sony only has 2 running on Xbox. We've said that if this acquisition goes through, we'd be happy to make sure that it's 59 with Call of Duty and no doubt others.
Interesting. That makes me wonder what the games are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what are the 2 PlayStation games that are on Xbox?
I don't know. But Sony has 286 exclusive titles. Microsoft only has 59 on Xbox.
Oh,
I think that's the thing you're talking about.
Destiny. It's probably Destiny and Destiny 2, right?
Imagine.
Because PlayStation owns Bungie now. That's probably the only 2 games is Destiny and Destiny 2. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. It could be.
That's wild.
We were talking about this earlier. I mean, it got brought up briefly about like the market share of like Xbox versus PlayStation. We're talking about Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Let me share some of these stats with you. Japan, 96% of people with the console own a PlayStation.
It's been like that.
Xbox.
Yeah, it's been like that forever with Japan. I'm not even surprised.
Makes sense. You know, I get it. Yeah. In the EU, 80% are PlayStation players. 20% are on Xbox. Globally, 30% Xbox, 70% PlayStation.
I gotta look back at the stats, but I feel like in the Xbox 360 era, that was reverse on the EU. I felt like it was mostly Xbox 360 versus PS3. But I could be wrong. Somebody let us know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure like EU was dominated by Xboxes at that time.
Regardless, right now, Microsoft is losing the console war and they are losing their market share. So again, for Sony to really stand up there and be like, hey, can't do that. It's like, what do you mean? You've been doing this the whole time. If anything, the Bungie deal shouldn't have gone through.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care about that. I don't think Microsoft cared about that. They knew they weren't getting Bungie back because of the relationship, the way that fizzled out after Halo.
Speaking of Activision, Call of Duty. Activision was I don't want to say just hacked. They were hacked in December and didn't tell a single soul about it. And it just came out recently. And I guess it was through the computer of an HR person. And we got all the future plans leaked, right? The dates for every season and like all the stuff coming out from new raids to new spec ops to, you know, like all the modes, like everything, including Call of Duty 2023 having an alpha. I believe it was like late May or early June. And we got another leak, this one from Jason Schreier and Bloomberg, stating that, because remember we heard rumblings of like Call of Duty 2023 was going to be like an expansion, pretty much like a DLC. It wasn't going to be a full premium game. Well, now he's backtracked on that and aligned himself with what Tom Henderson was saying, that it is a full premium release now. This will be a full-blown game, and it will still be a continuation of Modern Warfare 2, and all the stuff from Modern Warfare 2 is going to carry over as well. So
we were lied to about Call of Duty 2023, bro.
Yeah, straight up lied, dude.
I think a lot of people bought Modern Warfare 2 with the assumption that it was like, oh yeah, this will be a 2-year game rather than a 1-year game. I won't need to buy another one next year.
Yeah.
Might as well get this one.
Yep.
I think a lot of those people are going to be very disappointed if they're not already. Like, what? Like, why? I mean, commit. You know what I mean? And for them to be like, actually, last minute, we are going to release a full game.
Yeah.
That should tell you what this game is going to be like. I think it's going to be one of, if not the worst Call of Duties we've ever had.
Here's what I think happened, okay? And, you know, we cover the video game industry, so we can tell everybody watching here, right? A lot of the leaks you hear about are manufactured by the publishers and developers themselves to gauge interest, to gauge what people think about it. And I fully feel that this is what this was. They had somebody leak out initially that this was going to be just a big expansion, not a sequel, to see what people would think about it, right? Because Modern Warfare 2, when it first came out, at least, reception was good. So like, what would more Modern Warfare 2 look like? How would people feel about that? And once they seen that people got kind of mad that they weren't going to get a full-blown release, then they decided to change the phrasing of this from an expansion to, oh no, this is a full premium release. And I'm sure they're pumping, as we speak, pumping a lot more content into it to make it feel that way. But I agree with you. I feel like this is going to be another Vanguard situation.
It's Sledgehammer. So yeah, I'm assuming a Vanguard situation.
It's Sledgehammer again, but Jason Schreier did say this is being managed by Infinity Ward, so
I don't care who it's managed by.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't trust Sledgehammer anymore to make anything good after, you know, the original guys left and went to go, you know, make Dead Space or whatever. Or not Dead Space, Callisto Protocol.
Of Call of Duty over the last couple of years,
yeah,
I'm surprised that Sony is still fighting.
Yeah, man.
I get that it's like it's the best-selling game year after year typically. I understand that factor. But with how poor the game is and how much the community complains, I've ranted about that before. If there's anything to describe like a dying franchise, it would be Call of Duty. It's similar to Halo. It's just, it's not like it used to be, and that's okay. At some point, you're gonna have to let go.
You know, it's funny. I just realized a lot of our topics on this podcast today have a lot of synergy. Everything's coming full circle because we're talking about games that are dying and games that are like, you know, milking the cow. And it brings us to our final topic, which I'm going to let you lead, the whole Madden situation.
Oh my God. Talk about a game that's been milking it for years. A game that's been copy paste year after year after year after year, bro. Madden is going to get, I don't know what's going to happen. At this point, EA is going to lose Madden. That's what I'm going to say.
They got to make the NFL happy, right? Because like part of having that license, which they have exclusively, which is why we haven't had an NBA or NFL 2K game in years. And by the way, NFL 2K was the best, like I forgot what year it is. I think it's 2K5, the best NFL game ever made.
Yeah, 2K5 was great. Yeah. I will argue that was also kind of peak Madden time. You had 04 Vic on the cover.
Yeah.
But
it's because there was
competition. I think we're going the same place here. Competition is what really drives this. And I think that's another issue with Call of Duty is Battlefield really isn't a competitor anymore. There's really nobody else that pushes them to be like, yeah, we got to innovate or think up something new or listen to our community. No, they're just like,
dude,
here's half-ass garbage.
Competition makes games better. The best peak Maddens were when NFL 2K was around, right? Yes. And as much as I want to buy in to what, you know, Mike, aka Quincy, is buying into X Defiant and stuff like that about being the Call of Duty killer, I'm not buying that.
It's another Splitgate, bro.
Yeah, but I want that. I do want there to be a Call of Duty killer, but I don't think it's going to be X Defiant. And I only want a Call of Duty killer because I want that competition back. Battlefield ain't doing it. So like, we need something out there, and this is why I wish Titanfall was still a thing. And why I wish the past Titanfalls were a success. Because if the past Titanfalls were released at the right time and were just juggernauts and they just kept releasing sequels and stuff like that, like, dude, you'd have Titanfall versus Call of Duty, man. Maybe not every year, but like every couple of years you got a new Titanfall that's just shitting on Call of Duty. You know?
Look, bro, the state of gaming right now is stale. I think we went through a lot of FPS games. Yeah. And then everybody got tired of that. And then BRs came. And then BRs were great. And everybody got tired of that. And then they tried to go back to the FPS games. They were just like, this is garbage too. And then they went back to their sports games and it was like, this is the same thing I left in 2013.
Dude, speaking of ranting videos coming full circle again, you know, from the Suicide Squad thing, like, remember I made a ranting video about Battle Royales? Yeah. Completely thinking I was going to post that and just get completely shitted on in my comments. Dude,
everyone supported you.
I will say 99% of people agreed with me. They're like, we're done with fucking Battle Royales. We're over it.
Again, I think it's so repetitive. I mean, for me, I'm playing Valorant, but the only real competition I see to Valorant is CSGO. Yeah. And those who are driving innovation. CSGO has really made a comeback and has seen peak player bases because of it.
Yeah. And it's like that is not a genre that's gotten milked. There was CSGO.
No, it's not stale.
Yeah, there was CSGO and then there's Valorant now. And there was years between that with nothing. At least nothing memorable that, like, you know, could compete with CSGO. But it's just like, dude,
you're gonna get a lot of hate because Overwatch is, I mean, kind of technically a tactical shooter, right? Or
I consider it like a hero shooter, like a I don't know.
But I guess that's also kind of Valorant because you have the agents that have the abilities. But again, it's definitely more of a tactical shooter. It's very much 5v5 strategy, and then it's like, hey, this one has smokes and this one has flashes and stuff like that. Anyways, besides the point. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are just done with the genres that we have. I don't know if there's another gaming genre that will come out with the next couple of years that will, really revive anything. You know what I'm saying?
The trend I saw, and I'm gonna have a bold take after this. The trend I see is Tarkov like experiences. I feel like we're kind of moving in
Like
that,
resets?
huh?
Like a reset to a game? Or just like the genre?
Like the the genre of like Escape from Tarkov, where you go in and you have to evacuate with loot or whatever. You know what I mean? Like games like
Yeah, that's
that.
what DMZ was supposed to
Yeah,
be.
like DMZ, right? But I feel like that's the
But
direction.
DMZ had like 1 week, bro.
Yeah, that's the direction we're going in. And you know me, I'm the biggest Naughty Dog fan in the world, so I'm saying this with full bias. But they always set the bar, at least for single player stuff, right? Maybe they'll set the bar for multiplayer and create something completely fresh with Last of Us factions that becomes the new status quo. Like
Maybe.
because they're talking about integrating like story into a multiplayer, and like I'm just like, how the fuck are they gonna do that? But I know they're gonna pull it off because it's Naughty Dog. You know what I mean? Like I just know they're gonna pull it off. So I'm interested to see.
I'm confident in Naughty Dog's ability to make a good story single player game.
Yeah.
I might be a little skeptical on the multiplayer games. I'm just gonna say that now.
Yeah. So full transparency, you've never played Last of Us, which you're going to next month,
Bro. Okay, I have a confession.
What?
I haven't played any single player games still. I've been so busy, and I want to play them, but
Yeah,
at the same time, I just want to play Valorant too.
So Esports Center he's planning to have a series where he plays all the single player games he missed on. Last of Us is one of those, and so he wasn't there like with the original Last of Us games, because the one he's gonna play for PS5 doesn't have factions. But when Last of Us first came out for PS3 and even the PS4 remastered version, it had a multiplayer mode called Factions, and it was the best multiplayer that PlayStation has ever had, even over Killzone. Prove me wrong. Comment down below if you think I'm batshit crazy, but the multiplayer there was exceptional. It was so fucking good. Like we've never seen it. It was the narrative at the time when the game came out. Because it was at the time where every single player game that was coming out was having a multiplayer just thrown in it for a boost in sales, and it was usually half-ass, piss poor multiplayer modes. Right? Last of Us was the exception to the rule at the time. It had a stellar masterpiece campaign and a fantastic multiplayer. So I fully trust Naughty Dog to make a bomb-ass multiplayer experience, and I just can't wait for this thing to get revealed.
This is very random. I'm excited for a reveal as well, but this is very random. Do you remember the game Brink?
Yeah, I do.
Bro, Bethesda made that game, and that was a game back in the day that I was like, I played that, and I was like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't. It's one of those games that got boring real quick. I'm afraid that The Last of Us multiplayer might actually get to that point where you're like, I really like this. Actually, it's kind of boring. I'm gonna go back to Fortnite, Call of Duty, or Valorant.
Yeah, I hope not, dude. I really hope that this is the next big thing. They have apparently, from rumors, they have Bungie working with them, and they like on the multiplayer side, they also have somebody who came from Fortnite, who was one of the biggest like people there that worked on the multiplayer side, who's heading up the battle pass and all that shit, all those systems on this game too. So I don't know, man. I'm super hyped. I just can't wait to see it, and I feel like we're gonna finally see it at the PlayStation Showcase. Neil Druckmann was interviewed because he's been doing press runs for the Last of Us TV show, which is amazing. Highly recommend you all watch it if you've played the game. He's been doing a press tour, and they keep asking about the multiplayer, and he's saying it's gonna get revealed later this year. So fully expect that one to be at the showcase, and we're gonna be reacting to that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think also to again bring it full circle. Talking about Madden, about how EA is going to lose Madden. EA is promising big changes to Madden 24, but I have some serious doubts.
I do too.
EA lost over 60% of player data in their franchise modes and could not recover it. Dude, 60% of player data is just lost. I would be so pissed if out of the people that are so dedicated to your game year after year that buy the same copy paste garbage.
Yeah.
And you lose more than half of their data.
This
is a major, a $1 billion company that's been making games for years. That's unacceptable, first off.
Yep.
Second, you never listen to your community in terms of Madden. Never, ever. The community gives you a lot of feedback, has a lot of great ideas, has put up with a lot of your shit, and you don't make any changes. Well, you know what? That's about to change. EA is feeling the pressure. And they're saying that Madden 24 is a make or break for the franchise. Could this mean that they're getting pressure from the NFL? Could this mean that they're getting pressure from Xbox and PlayStation? I don't know. But I think that what we do know is if this game doesn't perform, this could be the end of Madden.
And hopefully 2K gets the license after that. Actually, I don't know. It's not the same 2K anymore.
No, it's not.
NBA 2K is just as bad. So I don't know if I trust 2K with either.
Well, it's because, okay, who's competing with 2K? Again, this is if a game doesn't have a direct competition, it doesn't drive innovation.
You know, it's funny with the whole 2K thing. The reason they don't have competition, it's not the same as Madden, right? Like,
no, NBA Live is garbage.
Yeah, it was just NBA Live, like year after year, was garbage and just couldn't compete with the level that 2K was. And then once that franchise completely died out, then they got lazy at 2K, and it's been, you know, copy paste every year. So like that's what happened there. Madden, it was a whole different story. It was they got the NFL license. So if you wanted to make a football game, yeah, sure you can, but you can't use any of the NFL teams in it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, who's gonna play that?
EA is still gonna get bailed out because the next big thing like along the horizon is NCAA football, which I'm super excited for because the nostalgia from back in 2013 and before. But I mean, what I would like to see actually is let's take NCAA football and essentially you can have a my player that plays through your college career that you can transfer over into the NFL, and then it goes into Madden. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Some kind of, I think story and career is a big thing that's driven 2K to be so successful. I think Ultimate Team is definitely the thing that's built FIFA. So really look at those and be like, hey, how can we do that but better in football sense? You know what I mean? And real football, not soccer.
Yep. 100%. Something tells me though that EA, I mean, they got to be worried about it because it's a big moneymaker for them, but like they've pivoted so much to single player games that it's just like, you know what I mean?
They're a single player franchise.
They're like a single player publisher now. It's crazy to see because this is the same company that shit on single player games in the past. That was the first to lead the charge of single player games are dead, multiplayer is the future. You know what I mean? And
I mean, they weren't wrong. I mean, multiplayer is the future, and that's what we continue to go to.
I don't think single player is ever going to be dead, though. I don't foresee that. That's look at this year. Look at all the titles coming out this year. All the biggest games are all single player. And look at even last year to an extent. With God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring, those are the two biggest titles of the year, both single player games. Where Elden Ring had a little bit of co-op in it, but still, like, you know.
But nowadays, if you're a multiplayer game, you're released for free.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's a little difference. I mean, Sons of the Forest released. Hey, you played it. Tell me about it. What'd you think?
Not for me. I'm gonna be honest, but that's just because I'm not a survival game type guy, and I'm a single player gamer, right? So I don't need my handheld per se, but I need direction. I need to know like what's the objective. What am I
linear for you?
Yeah, what am I going for? It doesn't have to be linear because I like open world games with stories too, right? Okay. But I just need like, hey, here's the next objective. You go here. Whether it's a linear or open world, it don't matter, right?
But it makes it more like a puzzle game though, with like a survival and a little bit of horror aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's something that's not for me, and it's not a bad game by any means. It's not a bad game. People are gonna love it. People are probably gonna rate it really high. For me, I just didn't like being dropped in and just being completely confused on how to do anything. Okay, where am I going? Okay, what do I do? How do I sleep? How do I save? And just trying to figure all this shit out.
I played an hour of it. And I think that you could definitely tell that it still belongs in early access. They made the right choice. That is not a complete game, let me tell you. There are still a lot of bugs. There are a lot of issues. There are a lot of holes.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just me because a lot of people do love that. A lot of people do love being dropped in and like, there you go, figure it out, spread your wings and fly. So
that is definitely more my style of single player game, I think, than a linear based story where I'm like, all right, run over here and get this thing. Okay, run over here and grab that thing and talk to this person and fly over here and then grab this car. It's like, I don't really care. But if I'm like, this is survival mode in the forest and I'm out here with my buddies, like that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm not gonna rule it out just yet because I only played for less than 2 hours. So maybe it's gonna click when I play it again. You know what I mean? But
is that why you don't like Minecraft?
Probably, yeah. I think actually
There's no story though with
that's
Minecraft. I mean, there is, but there's not.
that's exactly the reason I don't like Minecraft and games like that, because I like objectives. I like checking the boxes. I like, you know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that gets me going. Like I'm more inclined to play Minecraft Dungeons than I am to play Minecraft, just because Dungeons has a story and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna sound crazy.
Yeah, okay, fair.
You know what I'm saying? But it has a story.
I mean,
so I'm like,
relate, but sure.
Yeah, but I'm like, that I've never been into building games, and it's the same with like PlayStation. Like I never got into Little Big Planet, even though I think that does have kind of a story. Like anything that has to do with building, creating your own levels, and that stuff, that's just never spoke to me. You know what I mean? That's just not my thing.
Fair enough. Did you have you completed Hogwarts Legacy yet?
Yes, finished Hogwarts Legacy. Not 100%. Still got some side missions and
oh, you finished the story.
the main quest. Yeah. So I finished the main quest, and gotta say, for those who played Hogwarts Legacy out there, you're probably gonna agree with me. Sebastian's side quest storyline is better than the main quest in the game. Not to say that the main quest is bad, but like his story was so good. Like he had, I don't want to spoil because I don't know how far you are, Dalton. I'll just say that he's, you could tell his character was like clearly inspired by Anakin Skywalker. Like when they made his character of like, this is a kid who's going to make all the wrong decisions for the right reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's totally Anakin Skywalker. And I love that type of storytelling. So like, for me, Sebastian's story was the best in the game, and I'm sure people are going to comment and agree, because it's just so good, especially if you really lean into being a dark wizard and you want to learn those curses and you want to learn Avada Kedavra. Oh man, it's so good.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
I think to wrap everything up,
what have you been playing recently?
Valorant, when I have time. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a multiplayer strictly, and the rank grind is fun in a way. Like I will get very frustrated and upset, but I'm like, God damn it, I want to play again.
For you though, like you are a very busy person, right? Like we just talked about this off.
I mean, you've got a busy schedule.
Yeah, too. like off pod we talked about it, but it's much easier, in my opinion, to when you have a little bit of free time to just jump in a quick multiplayer match or two, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To sit down like after a long ass 18-hour day and like commit to starting a God of War Ragnarok or God of War, a single player game. I can understand why you haven't started the series yet. I'm not going to hold it against you by any means, because it is hard when you're so freaking busy, and it's much easier, like I said, to just play a game or two of Valorant or Fortnite or Warzone or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of people can relate. Like you get off work, you're done with school, like you want to decompress. Like, yeah, I want to go play a game of Call of Duty or a game of Warzone or a game of Fortnite with my friends. That's fine. I think that's what gaming is kind of meant for. But at least for some people.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, for example, I'm recording at 2 a.m. right now. It's 1 a.m. your time, 2 a.m. my time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've had half a sandwich today. Like that's how much time I've had. Not enough time to sit down and be like invested in God of War, or sit down and look at all the side quests in Hogwarts Legacy, or replay Red Dead Redemption or anything like that. Like, I think multiplayer games are just something that's super easy to pick up.
Dude, it's the same way for me. Like I think this is part of the reason I didn't get into Sons of the Forest too, is like with the limited time I have, I don't want to be figuring shit out about a game. I want to know where to go so I can make some progress. You know what I mean? And I'm surprised. I am shocked that I beat Elden Ring last year, because before that, and I loved Souls games in the past. Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time. Love Neo 1, Neo 2. But I tried playing the Dark Souls games after that. Tried playing a couple other like Souls games, and I couldn't do it because I didn't like having just an hour left in my day, playing a game, dying to the same boss over and over, hours up, and I've made no progress. So that kind of like turned me off from Souls games for a while, until Elden Ring really turned me back around on it. But like, yeah, it's the same case for this game. I was like, I got a very limited time to play this right now. I put in 2 hours, and a lot of that was just like, okay, how do I make a spear? How do I make, you know what I mean? And it's just like, that wasn't fun for me. For people who have all the time in the world, I could see them like just going neck deep into this game, figuring out all the mechanics, figuring out everything, and then really fucking enjoying the game after that. For me, I don't have that time. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I think
Yeah.
that I kind of hit a realization just now. I think that with a lot of games, when the skill gap becomes too large for the casual player to pick up and play,
Yeah.
the game starts dying.
Yep.
I mean, you can look at Fortnite, for example, back when building was like there was still like a building mode and not the no building.
Yeah.
A lot of people quit because they didn't have the time to grind and didn't care. Like I could tell you, I didn't want to do it. I don't care to learn. I don't have enough time in my day or a will to want to sit down and learn how to build for 6 hours.
Dude, I will
It's just
say there's numbers out there and they are shocking. And I don't know them on the top of my head, but the amount of people who, one, don't beat games, or two, even get past the first level is
I've seen those
is
stats.
staggering.
We'll bring them up on the next pod.
Yeah, we'll bring it up. We'll find it on the for the next pod. But like, dude, it's a crazy percentage. Like, I want to say it's close to.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like close to 90. It's like 90 something percent of people don't even like play past the first level. And you could see it if you're playing on Xbox, if you're playing on PlayStation, look at the achievements or the trophies for a game and see what the percentage is for completing chapter 1, and then look at the rest of the chapters, and you're going to see the drop off. You could see it in every game you play, you know?
I think there are a few factors of a good successful game.
Yeah.
One, like in terms of like multiplayer games, are your friends playing it?
Yeah.
You know, do you have friends that you can easily hop on, play, or call up, and they're willing to play?
Mm-hmm.
So again, is there a active community?
Yep.
Is it accessible on multiple platforms? I think Valorant is one of those things where it's like it's only PC, but like if you're within the PC ecosystem, then like a lot of your friends are probably on there as well.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a difference with PC, but like the console exclusives, it's hard to make a multiplayer that's only one console.
Yeah.
That's why I think also Halo struggles nowadays. And then 3, like, could you pick up and play it? Like,
Yeah.
could you easily understand, hey, I only have an hour before I got to go to dinner. I just got off work. I'm going to play a game of insert name. You know what I mean?
I feel like for Halo, and we've already beat this dead horse already. Just a quick note on Halo. I feel like that's a lot of just like they can't win no matter what type of multiplayer they make out of that, because if they cater to people who love the past games and make that arena style, then it doesn't resonate with the new crowd. But if you make something that appeals to the new crowd, then all the old players hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the solution for multiplayer is for Halo. I don't think they'll ever figure that out.
I think it's tough because
Yeah.
we're in an age where a lot of people have a variety of platforms, but cross-platform is so prevalent with multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we've seen it too. I think Halo 4, was it Halo 4 that had a more modern Call of Duty type multiplayer?
yeah,
And people fucking bagged on
that's
it.
when
And
that Bungie took over.
yeah,
God damn it.
they,
I mean 343. That's when Bungie let go.
yeah, they hated that multiplayer. And then now with like
Yeah.
Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, they're like, the arena shit's boring. It's stale. Like that's the type of multiplayer that died years ago. So it's just like, I don't know what the answer is there. And a battle royale won't fix that, because
No, not at all.
battle royales are dying too. So I don't.
Well, even look at Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty is meant to be a looter shooter.
Yeah.
Pick up, run and gun. The TTK is supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be fast paced. A game will take you 3 to 5 minutes and you're done.
Yeah.
You can't play a Valorant game or anything else like that, CSGO, within 3 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people that have spent a lot of time on that game want it to be competitive, and it's not meant to be competitive. It's meant to, again, be like just casual.
Yeah.
But like turn off your brain. It's like one of those movies where you're like, it's not a bad movie, but like it's not like a movie that's going to win an Oscar or like something that's really going to make me think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay. Those movies are still great. But when you're going to the movie theater and you're like, why isn't this movie winning an Oscar? You're going to be disappointed.
Yep.
And I think that's what Call of Duty's gotten to.
100%. Well, with that will be it for today's podcast, man. That was a good one.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace out.